It's the Kyle Hyman Show on Redeemer Radio.
This is Kyle Hyman, and joining us back on the show is Mary Jo Parrish here to talk about Kingdom Builders. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me again, Kyle.
Yeah. How have things been going?
Good. We had our 3 gatherings in November, and those went really well. And then we recorded a rosary a few months back, so we launched that on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, just in honor of Our Lady, the Joyful Mystery. So we had our builders come to St. Vincent's, and then we recorded there, and we put that out. So we're really excited about that. Really just getting people to pray.
So where's that available?
That is available on our website. We have a link to it on our website. Yep.
Buildingthroughhim.com.
Buildingthroughhim.com. Yep.
Okay. And it's a audio, video, both?
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yes. So hopefully we will eventually get it over to like Spotify or other areas. But right now it's on YouTube because I like a visual.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
All right. So what was the topic? Remind us.
It was cultivating holy friendships. There's a Bible verse from Sirach that says, "Faithful friends are a sturdy shelter. Whoever finds one finds a treasure." What I found is one of the most powerful lies that the enemy will tell me is, you are alone. Like, no one's there. You're alone. I often wonder if that's why I ended up having 10 kids. And obviously,
Not lonely anymore.
No, they surround me constantly. They have the special gift of being able to know where when I'm in the shower, like when I'm going to the bathroom, like they know, they immediately know. And then everyone needs me right then.
Right.
But the truth is, like, we're never alone. The Holy Spirit is within us. But the Father desires us to be surrounded by other Christian women because when we come together, that's when God's power overflows within us.
So with these friendships, what should we be looking for? How do we cultivate these holy friendships?
Right. The first thing is we need to be seeking virtue ourselves. So virtue is a holy habit, like good and holy habits. Vice is a bad habit. So we're seeking virtue for ourselves. So Kyle, what would you feel like I would say? What's our first goal here on earth?
Not to mess up our kids too badly.
Yeah, that too.
To get to heaven.
Right. To get ourselves to heaven. And then everyone we love and everyone that God puts in our path, we're always going to heaven. That's our first goal, that everything we do or don't do reflects that destination. So that quote there's a professional speaker, Jim Rohn, that said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I remember reading that years ago, and I was like, I am a toddler then, because I'm surrounded by toddlers all the time. Yeah. But truly, like in our society, like, who do you surround yourself with? In the compound effect, they say, according to research by social psychologist Dr. McClelland of Harvard, as much as 95% of your success or your failure in life have to do with the people that you habitually associate with. So who do you surround yourself with? Sometimes you have to change your environment to obtain the goal. And the goal is what?
To get to heaven. To
get to heaven, right? So sometimes you have to keep reminding yourself, wait, what's my goal? To get my kids a full ride scholarship in basketball? No, it's not actually. It's actually to get yourself and your children and everyone who God puts in front of you to heaven. So people that you put yourself around either hold you back or propel you forward. You cannot hang around bad people and have a good life. You have to make like this conscious decision to keep your distance from friends who lead you to the swamp. This swamp is like sin and not good things that are leading you to hell. And surround yourself with people who have the same goal as you. The cool thing is, where there's virtue, where you grow virtue, more virtue grows. So as you start to cultivate virtue in your own life, it actually becomes easier to grow other virtue.
So how do we do that?
So one, I've worked in youth ministry for many years. And so the one thing that I have seen over and over is the struggle with pornography and purity.
Sure.
And so when I have my students who say, Mrs. Parrish, I'm really struggling with blah, 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 and I can't stop. The first thing I'll say is, what's your bedroom look like? It's a mess. Well, first clean your bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah. Start with basics. Now what? How far behind are you in your homework? Get your homework caught up. Then all of a sudden, how are you treating your family? Because when you're in a state of mortal sin, that you actually treat everyone around you terrible because you're mad at yourself. Like get those things in order. Now I want you to think about not looking at pornography on your phone, okay? It's because you've cultivated virtue in all these other areas, which are much easier, and then all of a sudden that one big area becomes, oh, well, I can do that too. So where virtue grows, more virtue grows. The other thing is you cannot, when you're seeking a virtuous friendship, sometimes it's like you want that for the other person, but you cannot change a person's heart. Even Jesus died on the cross. Even him couldn't change a person's heart if they don't want changing.
Right.
So you have to know, you're not more powerful than Jesus. So you can't save everyone around you. St. Francis de Sales says, love everyone with a strenuous love based on charity, but form friendships only with those who can share virtuous things with you. So you love them, you pray for them, you don't give up hope for them, but you're not sharing intimate details of your life. You're not spending a great deal of time with those people because you're keeping yourself protected, because you're surrounding yourself with the people who have the same goal in mind.
I wonder if sometimes we can maybe be deceived and think that some of our friendships are good because it's maybe all that we've ever known. So, I mean, how do we know what to look for in a friendship?
Oh, that's a great question. Because I have like 10 things, which I like prayed about, like, okay, what are like the top 10? I was like David Letterman, girl style. What are the top 10 things? So number one, we pray with and for each other. C.S. Lewis, he has the best quotes. Friendship is born at a moment when one person says to another, what? You too? You too? I thought I was the only one. And I was having this really bad mom moment in my small group. I was discussing it, and I had renounced like anger. I'd renounced, all these things. And I just couldn't stop reliving this bad mom moment. And my one friend said, Mary Jo, have you forgiven yourself? And I was like, my immediately instinct was like, yeah, I don't deserve forgiveness. And I was like, well, wait, where'd that come from? Like, that's not who I know God is. Like, of course he wants to forgive you for your bad mom moment. Afterwards, after giving this teaching, the last time I had a woman who came up to me and told me about her bad mom moment. And she said, me sharing about mine made her be able to share about hers and be able to forgive herself.
Sure.
So, just recognizing that we all have failures and we keep moving forward. Number two is we speak truth and charity. St. Teresa of Avila says, what a great favor God does to those he places in the company of good people. When I was at this baby shower, I was pregnant with my 5th baby, and the baby shower was not for me. I just remember walking around and someone said something about me being pregnant. And I said, oh yeah, my kids are asking about number 6 and number 7. And I was so overwhelmed with being pregnant with the number 5. And I was humongous. Like, it was my heaviest pregnancy. I was like toddling around. Yeah, like 16 double chins. Anyway, it was just bad. And my friend was talking about my kids or whatever. And I said, yeah, my kids are asking about all these other kids that they want me to be pregnant with in the future. And I just told them, and I'm going to tell you I said this because I'm so embarrassed. I said it every time I speak it. Maybe I have to forgive myself, but it's horrifying. I said, I told my kids, the more kids we have, the less presents Santa can fit into his sack. Those words came from my mouth. And my friend Ann was like, Mary Jo, are you comparing human life to stuff? And I was like, oh, yes, I am. And, in my head, I didn't want any more kids. I was like, oh my gosh, 5th one is so much. And if I wouldn't have had that friend who spoke truth and charity, who really just asked a question and then just was silent, I would be missing half my children. We have 10. The idea that if someone wouldn't have spoken truth and charity to me, that I would have been missing half of the souls that God wanted to bless our family with is like, oh my goodness, thank you, Anne, for speaking truth and charity. Number 3, if you're married, holy friendships will help you support and honor that sacrament. Therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. From Mark. When my husband was being a little salty and rude, I was like venting about it. And my one friend said, you need to forgive him and you need to renounce that anger. And I was like, well, I'm not ready to do that. I need 5 minutes. Anyway, but someone who didn't say, you know what? You totally deserve better. He doesn't even appreciate you. And also remember 2 years ago when you baked that cake and he was like, didn't even appreciate that. You deserve a better husband than that. That is a swamp friend, someone who starts tearing down the sacrament of marriage. A holy and virtuous friend says, you need to renounce that anger. What's your prayer life look for him? Maybe you need to fast more often for him because your job as a wife is to get him to heaven. Someone who is really going to care about the sanctity of your marriage and support that. Number 4, we believe in one another's dreams and encourage each other. The glory of God is man fully alive, St. Irenaeus. When we first started Kingdom Builders, I was talking to my friend Allison, and I said, I have this dream that we'd have a conference, a Kingdom Builders conference. Is that crazy? She was like, oh no, we're totally doing that. I'll call the diocese. And I was like, what? And so we scheduled an appointment with the diocese, and they were like, absolutely, we'd love to support this, blah, blah, blah. So now we have the conference scheduled October 3rd of 2020. And a few weeks ago, I was really sick, and I was like, Father, I just need to know you're present because I'm really struggling right now. The last time when they recorded me, last time I could barely speak, I barely had a voice. And we had contacted Sister Bethany Madonna to be one of the speakers at our conference. She would be like my top woman speaker of all. Like if I could choose anyone, she would be the one I would want. And she said she wouldn't be able to get back to us until the spring. Well, she did. She got back to us right after I told the father, like, I need to know you're here. And she texted back and said she confirmed for October 3rd, 2020.
Oh, wow.
So she's like our headline speaker. I'm so excited.
Very cool.
Yeah, but that became in place because I had a friend who believed in me. Mm-hmm. Number 5, we allow one another to be the opportunity to be charitable, because for women, sometimes we just want to say, oh, we can do it all. We can do it all. When I was pregnant with number 4, I had been in a Bible study for like 8 months, but I really didn't know all the women very well. And they were passing around this sheet that said, sign up to bring Mary Jo and her family dinners. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. And someone said, why not? And I said, we have food allergies. It's too much work. I did not want to put that burden on anyone. I've not even been a part of this Bible study for very long. And they were like, Mary Jo, are you taking away the opportunity for charity? And I was like, oh, I guess I am. And now when I get pregnant, I'm not even showing. And my kids are like, when do they bring the food? When do your friends bring the food?
Right.
Like they're all about it. Like they now know how to accept charity and then obviously to give charity. But women, like getting rid of that spirit of self-reliance and pride and just allowing people to take care of you sometimes. Number 6, we know the gifts and talents of one another, and we're not embarrassed to share them. When we first started Kingdom Builders, Lindsay Arnold said, Mary Jo, how do you feel about earth tones? And she hired a graphic designer and for the wheelbarrow. And there wasn't a part of me that was like, how dare she? This was my idea. And now she's trying to get on my turf. No, absolutely not. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I would love that. I didn't even think about that. So not being offended or threatened by the gifts in other women, but actually like using the gifts to build up the kingdom. Mm-hmm. Number 7, we apologize and forgive. And in one of my small groups, one of my friends was saying something about her cousin who had this beautiful experience during Kingdom Builders. And I was so excited that I shared it with someone interviewing me from our Sunday Visitor. Uh-huh. And then she put it in the article. And then I realized, oh my gosh, that actually was told to me in small group, and I didn't even have my friend's permission to share that. So I had apologized to her. She's like, oh my gosh, it's no problem. But I, had to apologize, and then she forgave me. So recognizing that we are going to make mistakes and we need to ask for forgiveness and then give it when it's needed. Number 8, if a woman has children, we love them and fight for their souls. A woman's soul is fashioned as a shelter in which other souls may unfold. That's St. Edith Stein. And that doesn't mean just women who are moms. It means all women. But my kids are sometimes a complete mess. They're sometimes irrationally dumb, and then sometimes they're deeply holy and wise. Like when people are like, oh, Mary Jo, your kids are good. My knees are bloody and my tear ducts are full. Like I am on my knees praying and begging for God's help in raising these children because my goodness, it's hard. And there's not just my children, but my godchildren, my spiritual children, all these children. And I'm never alone. I have all my friends, my holy friendships and I'm praying for theirs, where we're supporting one another to be the moms God created us to be. Number 9, we have fun together. There's a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. It's Ecclesiastes. Mm-hmm. We're not just here to suffer. There's joy here, and we need to take the time to experience the joy. Like, my goodness. And then number 10, we stand together during trials. So sometimes it's just rising up into action saying, okay, now we need to do this now.
All right. This is all great. Yep. What is coming up then?
Our December topic is our journey to Bethlehem. So the prophecies of the Messiah were given to the Jewish people 700 years before the birth of Jesus. The Jewish hope for the Messiah was deep, abundant, and passed down from generation to generation. So how do we share in that same hope today? How can we take a step away from the consumer-driven Christmas to truly prepare ourselves for the Messiah's arrival? In the depths of our soul, do we truly desire more stuff or more of the sacred? Ladies, the sacred awaits you. Embrace your Advent. Come and receive the peace and joy your Heavenly Father desires for you. We have 3 dates. St. Charles is December 11th, St. Vincent's December 12th, and Sacred Heart Warsaw is December 17th. And we're at buildingthroughhim.com if you have any questions.
All right. Great. Thank you so much, Mary Jo.
Thank you.